Right now, here on Inside Arkansas Live, we're joined by a very special guest, a guy that knows a little bit about college football. Actually, that's a lie. He knows a lot about college football. He knows a lot about the landscape, everything about it, and the Arkansas Razorbacks in the SEC. Hung out with him at Media Days. Didn't get a chance to talk to him then, but that's okay. It's great about technologies. You can talk to him right now. He is Jake Crain of Crain and Company of the Daily Wire. And Jake, man, it's good to see you. I know we had a good time in SEC Media
Yeah.
Days, but it's good to talk to you about some Razorback football, man.
John, it's always good to see you, buddy. We always have fun at media days. Head, I couldn't make it for karaoke night. But no, look, it's one of those things where it's such a rat race up there, and now the technology, the barrier for entry is so easy. It's good to hop on, and I'm gonna keep it real with Arkansas fans right now, like you do. So I'm gonna, no sugarcoating it.
Well, I think they'll appreciate that because there are plenty of things that Razorback fans may be down on for the Hogs. They were picked to finish 14th in the SEC at SEC Media Days, which is one of the lowest that they've had here in a while. I think the 13th was what they were picked last year. Finished a little bit above that, but just your overall thoughts and feelings of the current state of Razorback football heading into 2025 and being 14th in the SEC, too high, too low, or just about right for you?
Well, that porridge sounds about right. The thing I noticed the most with the Arkansas program, and we'll get to personnel, I'm sure at some point, and I don't think it's just me, and I've heard you talk about this a little bit. There just seems to be a lack of excitement in the Arkansas football program right now. And look, I love Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman gives us the time of day every time we ask. He's a good old boy. I'm from Lee County, Alabama. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and you got to call a spade a spade. I just don't feel like the excitement level in the present and for the future is there for Arkansas football right now. Well, what I think Tayen Green has a chance to be special, but when you look at this roster, when you look at recruiting, when you look at Arkansas in the context of everybody else in the SEC, you have some teams that haven't played well here lately, but there's still a lot of excitement. They believe this coach is the guy to right the ship, navigate us the right direction in the future. And, even if Arkansas has a decent year, I still don't feel like the excitement's going to be there that Sam Pittman's going to reinvigorate this program and get Arkansas back where they belong. And whenever you hit that lull, this just feels like a stopgap moment for Arkansas. Sam Pittman seems like that, like an interim coach that isn't an interim coach. Like you're just waiting on the next guy, maybe a young guy that you hire to go reinvigorate. Like I said, and I feel for Arkansas fans because to me, that's the terminal illness. It's not that Arkansas can't do it or doesn't have the capability to do it. It's just that right now, it just seems dead over there. There's much more. I mean, talking about Arkansas baseball, let's get fired up, right? Talk about Arkansas basketball with Cal. Good God Almighty! I mean, there's narratives left and right. There's more Tyson chicken in that building right now there's ever been. But with football, you're just like, well, we'll just see what happens after Sam Pittman. Which, at the end of the day, like I said, it's a business, man. You can play your heart out. Not everyone gets a ring, though, as Drake said.
Well, that's the problem. I think Razorback fans are falling into places that you don't want to get left behind in a time of ever changing things going on in college
Yeah.
athletics. And for Razorback football, it's like, Pittman's a likable guy. We all know that. And we know Arkansas has accomplished some here in the past 15, 20 years, but it feels like it's been more bad than it is good. And I think it's what they see is they see programs like Ole Miss that may be on the same playing field that they've been for a long time. Well, they have success. Well, they have a great coach in Lane Kiffin. Say what you want about Missouri, but they've been winning some games. And those are programs that Arkansas feels like they're on the same playing field as, but they don't feel like they have the excitement, the energy, the future of what those programs have as well. So it's just a matter of how you feel with the other programs surrounding you. And Arkansas just feels like they're kind of just there in the SEC and nobody really knows what place they belong in.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, how many people outside of, sunshine pumpers in the Arkansas space, and we all got them, are sitting here saying everything's great. The program's been in the best spot it's been in over a decade. If that's the case, then it's worse than what I thought because I can name 4 to 5 years where going into it, I felt like Arkansas was in a much better place than they are right now. You bring up Ole Miss. That's a good comp. Where did Ole Miss do it? Everybody thinks they did it at quarterback and on offense, all this. They did it at the line of scrimmage. That's how you do it in this sport. That's how you do it in this league. And where it seems like Arkansas has become deficient is the place where Sam Pittman should be the most efficient. I say the same thing about Hugh Freeze. You can't be bad at what you're supposed to be best at. What Sam Pittman was supposed to be best at was getting the line of scrimmage right and then putting the ornaments around the tree and letting Bobby Petrino pull his wand out and do a Patronus spell against everybody. But that's not what we've gotten. What we've gotten is not only a lack of talent in the starting group, and I'm talking about the 5 on offensive line and the 4 on defense, but the depth. The depth is not there. And eventually that's what kills you. So, yeah, when you look at these programs and you gauge the temperature, it just feels like Arkansas is room temp right now. And that's just not sustainable when you have to recruit off sexiness and money. And I know that Arkansas, when they get hot, that fan base supports their school as much as anybody in the country. They will be behind you. I remember when Arkansas beat Texas with Sam Pittman. I mean, that place was bananas. Go to Bud Walton anytime in the near future and see that. Go out there to the Bomb and see that. Arkansas fans will rally, the money will come, but you got to show proof of concept on the field. And for the love of God, excite the people. Get the people go. Jackie Moon this thing if you have to. But it just feels like that Arkansas right now is in a dead period. And until they get out of that, and you typically to get out of a dead period, John, you got to make a big change, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's how I think Razorback fans have been feeling. And you mentioned the Sam Pittman angle of the offensive line. I think that's what's been concerning is the fact that they've been okay at times at offensive line, but never great. But then there's been years that have been bad, and nobody really knows why. I mean, this is a guy that's been around and been in the SEC and coached offensive lines like crazy and have always been elite. And I think they've made improvements, but like, can you figure out or have any idea of why that is that Sam Pittman, known for being a great, phenomenal, one of the best, if not the best offensive line coach in college football, has yet to really have that level of an offensive line here at Arkansas?
Yes, because when you specialize at one thing and then you get hired as a head coach, it's a totally different job. It's like being the Secretary of State and then the president. You have to manage the whole thing. You can't spend all day over with all those 5 stars and those things running around that Georgia had and just worry about that and not worry about anything else. Now you do less coaching as a head coach than you ever did as a position coach or a coordinator or whatever. It is a totally different job. That's why we see, as you can hear my 6-month-old, she agrees right now with what's going on over there. At the end of the day, Sam Pittman is responsible for everything. That's fundraising, that's hiring, that's worrying about things that you're not best at. We saw it with Will Muschamp, right? Some guys are just great coordinators. I'm going to pick this baby up. Come here. Let's go. We got a special guest, Sean. Special guest.
Hey, everybody would rather see the baby in my face anyway, so that totally works.
Perfect. This is Viola. She loves football. Her mom's an Alabama fan. Her dad's an Auburn fan. But deep down, I've been showing her Cam Newton highlights when her mom's not home. So I'm subliminally messaging her into becoming an Auburn fan.
Well, I think you're off to a good start if you're having Cam Newton highlights. It's a good place to start.
Yeah, I don't want to show her anything recent.
Yeah, don't want that. But speaking of that element to it, though, Tayen Green, I know me and you talked about him. Not to say he's compared to Cam Newton, but he is a very tall quarterback. You saw him walking around. I mean, he's 6'6". He almost looks taller than that. He's coming off of a first year where he was all right. I mean, he had some moments. He dealt with some injury, but year 2, Bobby Petrino, year 2 of Tayen Green, just. Do you think that that's really where, if you're a Razorback fan, you're going to have to rest your laurels and saying, this is why I get excited, is because of those 2 guys, and that's what you got to make sure you get excited about?
Yeah, well, it's been funny, with all these teams that have really good rosters but are starting new quarterbacks. I've been saying these guys don't need to be Batman. They just need to be a really good Robin. But with Tayen Green, he doesn't need to be Batman. He's going to have to be Superman. Because at the end of the day, that's why football is the greatest sport of all time. It's the ultimate team sport. One guy cannot do it. It's the pieces around you that play well, and then you let your elite players take it to that next level. I think Tayen Green did some really good things last year. He's obviously really athletic. He's a long strider. When he gets going, he's not as fast as Matt Jones, but when those guys with long legs get going, they're very, very hard to catch, and angles disappear. And I did see, even throughout the injuries, which he tried to tough out, some growth from the pocket as opposed to what I saw at Boise State, and that's kudos to Bobby Petrino. And he could make a big jump this year, John. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you don't have the pieces around you, you're not balanced offensively. You can't trick everybody every game for 4 quarters. So what I worry about for Taylor is what's the run game going to look like to protect him? How many times is he going to have to say, all right, well, nobody else can do it, so I'm going to have to do it and take off and run and get beat to smithereens regardless of how big he is because of who you're playing against. And, it's I actually thought there was a chance he was going to enter the transfer portal. I really did with the pieces around him because this is a money year for him. This is a huge money year for him, and I just he'll make some wow plays, he'll make some owl plays. And typically I say, you want to stay in the pocket and beat people from the pocket. John, I don't know if he can sit in the pocket and beat people with what Arkansas has right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's many people that do believe that. By the way, we're speaking, of course, with Jake Crain of Crain and Company of the Daily Wire here on Inside Arkansas. So, Jake, you mentioned the SEC and the brutality that it can be. It's tough. You got to be tough. You got to be physical to be able to succeed into this league. But I want your thoughts on it. Media days for other conferences are going on. People are taking some pot shots at the SEC, which to me, in one vein, I love it because it's how SEC media days used to be. Used to be some shots getting taken, but now it just seems like some of the stuff that they're saying in the Big Ten and maybe even the ACC is a little, I don't know, you can call it desperate, you can call it weird because it's not, a lot of it's not even based in facts, but just what do you make of this approach that a lot of these conferences and other coaches and teams are doing against the SEC in media days?
Well, I thought the SEC wasn't the best anymore. Why do y'all care? If the SEC is so on a level playing field, why are y'all combining to form the Mega Ranger to attack the SEC during your media days? And what's funny about the Big Ten is you're making the wrong argument. This schedule argument was the one y'all were making when y'all were the whipping boys of college football and weren't winning anything. Now you've won back-to-back national championships. Why aren't y'all just leading with that? Why are you burying the lead? Why are you continuing to push a narrative that when you were down, it was the only thing you could push? It's because at the end of the day, and John, me and you both lost a lot of weight recently, but when I look in that mirror, I still see Fat Jake. I still see him. Sometimes, it's like old boy from Spider-Man staring at the green mask. You just can't get over it to get on that new level. That's where I feel like they're at. And it's a ridiculous, the ACC, talking trash. That's like bragging about being the fourth skinniest kid at fat camp. Like that means nothing. Nobody really cares. But for the Big Ten, man, I thought y'all were over us. I thought we broke up and y'all were over us and y'all found this unbelievable new good looking girl whose parents are rich and she's funny and she cooks good. But you're still texting all the side and tweeting out trash about your ex. It just seems to me like they're not over it when they should be over it.
See, that's how I take it too, is just a place that is using any sort of loophole that they can find or any sort of little slight that they can take, and they're taking it, even if it doesn't make any sense to anybody. They're still going to take it.
It's little brother actions, like it is. It's 100% little. When y'all actually have the high ground right now, but you don't want to take it. You want to follow that hunchback, show you the goat path, so you don't have to go through the hot gates.
Yeah, exactly right, man. And it's fun too because I don't know. I've always felt like the SEC and still do is superior and they're getting it done. But it's just, do you feel that the conferences besides the SEC are rapidly catching up? They're about to catch up, and the SEC is no longer going to be that far away from being the superior? Or you think it's just, hey, this is as close as you're going to get, and maybe you have it going on a little bit, but at the end of the day, the SEC is still going to be the SEC, and for years to come, nobody's really going to ever touch it at this point.
Well, I think now with the rules and you look at obviously, NIL, the transfer portal, things like that, that no conference and no team will ever monopolize college football the way that the SEC did for that stretch and the way that Alabama did. You're just not able to do it from a retention standpoint and from a recruiting standpoint with the fluidity that we have now. And that's not a knock on what the Big Ten has done. I think what Tony Petitti and that league have done has been smart, and it's obviously reaping rewards on the field. But I don't think this is because of anything the SEC did or just overall because of everything the Big Ten did. I think that's the way the sport is now. You just can't monopolize it, which is a good thing. Because at the end of the day, I always go back and forth, John. Like sometimes this conference affiliation stuff just blows my mind. Like the only reason I point out the things that the Big Ten are saying about scheduling is because it's factually just inaccurate. If it was flipped around, I'd say the same thing. But I just want my team to win. Do I care if Ole Miss makes it to the playoff and does well just because they're in the SEC? No, I don't. I'm not going to sit here and carry the flag for the S. They haven't. Greg Sankey hasn't sent me a check yet. But if something is factually inaccurate, outside of my wife, which after being married for 3 years, I just say you're right and move on. Everybody that's married will understand that listening to this. But if something outside of that is factually inaccurate, I'm going to call it out regardless of what side. But this whole like conference affiliation, like somehow you get points, like or you get like money because the conference does well in the postseason. I just think it's kind of funny.
No, I think it's hilarious too. And I know that we're going to let you go, but I wanted to, of course, bring up somebody you know very well. What's your thoughts on Fred Talley and the running back that is
Hold on, let
former
me cover
Razorback?
here. Here's, you know, the only way that Arkansas can make the college football playoff this year is if they played every game at 11 a.m. on Jefferson Pilot Sports in Jordan Hare. You know, when it's Reagan, right? It's
Yes.
Reagan. When she asked me that question, literally, you would think, you know, what's the first Arkansas player that comes to mind? You think like Darren McFadden or Felix Jones or Peyton Hillis. It's Fred Talley. Breaking my heart as a young whippersnapper getting up all excited. It's Saturday. I can hear the band playing from where I used to live in Auburn. And then I turn it on and watch Arkansas pull our pants down in front of everybody in Walmart and spank us. So yeah, Fred Talley, you know, honestly, if I was driving past somebody and their car was broken down and I stopped and it was Fred Talley, I'm not helping you, dog.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I wouldn't help him either if I was an Auburn fan, but
Yeah,
it's at least both of our programs that we care about the most. We're kind of in a weird spot right now, so we just have to
they
relive the
are. They
glory
are.
days.
We're just like, I don't know. We're just trying to find our identity. I will say though, I think there's more enthusiasm for Auburn, regardless of the crazy stuff that's gone on, than there is for Arkansas. But it's not a fun place to be. I want Hawk hands. I'm sick of getting the rawhide wallet.
Yeah, dude, I think yeah, everyone can relate to you there in Arkansas.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does a great job. He covers all things college football. It's Jake Crain of Crain and Company of the Daily Wire and does a national show you can catch. But Jake, and appreciate you as well as Baby Crane joining us here on the show
Yes.
today, man.
Yes, appreciate you having me, John. You do a great job. Really proud of you, man. Inside Arkansas is awesome. You guys are killing it. Keep doing it, and looking forward to seeing you again. And listen, I've got to go to an Arkansas baseball game. Okay, I've got to go to one. I went to Mississippi State's, and I got to be able to compare. So next baseball season, we're bringing the crew. We're bringing the fam. You good with that? You want to go to
Yeah.
Arkansas baseball game? Call them real quick. Woo, big Suey. Now never do that again. All right, John. Thank you.
Yeah, no one's watching anyways. No one will see it. So appreciate it,
Okay,
man.
good.